Hola amante de las historias. Are you ready for a tale that will send shivers down your spine? Imagine a mystery that has remained unsolved for decades, a puzzle that has baffled even the most seasoned investigators. Today, we delve into one such enigma, a story about a beloved teacher who vanished without a trace. This is the story of Mr. Smith and the ripple effect his disappearance had on everyone he knew. Fasten your seatbelts, dear readers, because this journey is about to take some unexpected turns. Mr. Smith was more than just a teacher. He was a guiding light, a mentor, a friend to all his students. He had a unique ability to make even the most complex subjects engaging, transforming his classroom into a haven for curious minds. Then, one ordinary afternoon, he simply disappeared. One moment he was there, in the middle of a lesson, his voice echoing through the corridors of Willow Creek High. The next, he was gone, vanished like a wisp of smoke. The classroom was left in disarray, textbooks scattered on the floor, the faint scent of chalk dust lingering in the air, a testament to the abrupt interruption. The authorities were immediately alerted, but despite their best efforts, no trace of Mr. Smith was ever found. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years, but the mystery of his disappearance remained unsolved. The case eventually went cold, leaving behind a void in the hearts of his students and a community grappling with unanswered questions. Mr. Smith's absence left a gaping hole in the heart of Willow Creek High. The once bustling hallways, filled with laughter and chatter, now echoed with a somber silence. His presence had been a beacon of hope and inspiration for both students and faculty alike. His students, once brimming with enthusiasm for learning, found it difficult to concentrate. The joy of discovery and the thrill of understanding new concepts seemed to have vanished with him. Their thoughts constantly drifting back to their missing mentor, they struggled to find the same passion for their studies. The void left by Mr. Smith was palpable, a constant reminder of the uncertainty that now clouded their days. The classroom, once a vibrant hub of knowledge and laughter, now felt eerily silent, haunted by the memory of their beloved teacher. The desks and chairs, once filled with eager students, now stood as silent witnesses to the loss. The sunlight streaming through the windows seemed to cast long shadows, as if mourning the absence of the man who had brought so much light into their lives. Among them was a young man named David, who had always been particularly close to Mr. Smith. David had found in Mr. Smith not just a teacher, but a mentor and a friend. David was a bright and inquisitive student, and Mr. Smith had recognized his potential from the very beginning. He had taken David under his wing, guiding him through the complexities of literature and life. He had spent countless hours after school, nurturing David's love for literature and encouraging him to pursue his dreams. Their discussions often extended beyond the classroom, delving into the realms of philosophy, ethics, and the human condition. Mr. Smith's disappearance had a profound impact on David. The young man found himself adrift, his anchor gone. The world seemed a little less bright, a little less certain without Mr. Smith's steady guidance. He felt lost and alone, his mentor's guidance sorely missed. The photo of Mr. Smith that he kept in his notebook was a constant reminder of the man who had believed in him when no one else did. David vowed to uncover the truth behind Mr. Smith's vanishing, to find closure not just for himself, but for all those whose lives had been touched by the enigmatic teacher. He knew that this journey would not be easy, but he was determined to honor Mr. Smith's legacy by seeking the truth. Little did he know that this promise would lead him on a winding, perilous path, a journey that would test his resolve and challenge everything he thought he knew. The road ahead was uncertain, but David was ready to face whatever came his way, driven by the memory of the teacher who had changed his life forever. Section 4. A blast from the past. 30 years passed, and the memory of Mr. Smith's disappearance faded into local legend. The small town of Willow Creek, with its quaint streets and close-knit community, had moved on, but the mystery lingered like a ghostly whisper among the older residents. They would occasionally recount the tale to newcomers, their voices tinged with a mix of nostalgia and unease. David, now a successful journalist, carried the weight of that unsolved mystery in his heart. Despite his professional achievements, The enigma of Mr. Smith's vanishing was a shadow that never left him. It was a puzzle that had shaped his career, driving him to uncover truths and seek justice in his stories. The passage of time had done little to diminish the enigma of Mr. Smith's vanishing, the puzzle pieces refusing to fit, the truth remaining tantalizingly out of reach. David often found himself lost in thought, pondering the clues and dead ends that had defined his youth. The mystery was a constant companion, a riddle that refused to be solved. One day, while visiting his elderly mother, David stumbled upon a box of old belongings from his school days. The attic was a treasure trove of memories, filled with the echoes of his childhood. As he sifted through the items, each one seemed to whisper stories of the past, drawing him deeper into a reverie. As he rummaged through the dusty textbooks and faded photographs, a faded leather-bound notebook caught his eye. It was tucked away beneath a pile of old yearbooks and forgotten mementos, its cover worn but still intact. The sight of it sent a jolt of recognition through him. It was Mr. Smith's journal, a forgotten relic from a time when life was simpler, a time before the mystery that cast a long shadow over Willow Creek. The journal felt almost sacred in his hands, a tangible connection to a man who had once been a guiding light in his life. David's heart skipped a beat. The discovery was both thrilling and terrifying. What secrets lay within those pages? Could this be the key to finally understanding what had happened all those years ago? Could this journal hold the answers he had been searching for all these years? With trembling hands, he opened the journal and began to read. The pages were filled with Mr. Smith's familiar handwriting, each word a bridge to the past. The words, penned in Mr. Smith's familiar handwriting, transported David back to his days at Willow Creek High, to the time when his mentor's presence filled the halls with warmth and wisdom. Memories flooded back, each one vivid and poignant, painting a picture of a time when the world seemed full of promise. As he delved deeper into the journal's pages, a sense of unease crept over him. The entries were not just nostalgic recollections. They hinted at something darker, something that Mr. Smith had been trying to protect them from. There were cryptic entries, veiled references to a hidden danger, a secret that Mr. Smith had been guarding. The more David read, the more he realized that the journal was not just a record of the past, but a warning, a message that had been waiting for the right moment to be discovered. Section 5. A Mysterious Discovery. David spent days poring over the journal, scrutinizing every word, every inflection, desperate for a clue, a whisper of what might have happened to Mr. Smith. The journal was old, its pages yellowed with age, and the ink had faded in places, making it even more challenging to decipher. Yet, David's determination never wavered. He knew that somewhere within those pages lay the answers he sought. His journalistic instincts kicked in, each cryptic entry fueling his determination to crack the code, to decipher the hidden message behind Mr. Smith's words. He could almost hear Mr. Smith's voice, guiding him through the labyrinth of thoughts and memories. The more he read, the more he felt connected to the man who had vanished without a trace. Then, nestled between the pages, he found it. A small, faded photograph. It was so unexpected that David's heart skipped a beat. He carefully pulled it out, holding it up to the light to get a better look. It depicted Mr. Smith standing on the precipice of a cliff, a brooding expression on his face, the vast expanse of the ocean stretching out behind him. The photograph was haunting, capturing a moment frozen in time, a moment that seemed to hold 1,000 untold stories. The location seemed vaguely familiar, but David couldn't quite place it. He racked his brain, trying to recall where he had seen such a landscape before. It was on the tip of his tongue, but the memory eluded him. He scrutinized the background, searching for any landmark, any detail that could unlock the mystery of the photograph. The cliffs, the ocean, the sky, they all seemed to whisper secrets, but none loud enough for David to hear clearly. And then he saw it, a faint outline of a lighthouse in the distance, its beam cutting through the fog like a beacon of hope. David's mind raced. The lighthouse was barely visible, shrouded in mist, but it was unmistakable. It was a clue, a signpost pointing him in the right direction. He had seen that lighthouse before, in an old tourist brochure for a remote coastal town called Oak Haven. The brochure had been part of a collection of travel memorabilia that Mr. Smith had kept. David remembered flipping through it once, not thinking much of it at the time. Could this be the missing piece of the puzzle, the key to unraveling the truth behind Mr. Smith's disappearance? David felt a surge of hope. He knew he had to visit Oak Haven, to stand where Mr. Smith had stood, to see what he had seen. Perhaps there he would find the answers he had been searching for.